Veloce Squadsprint is back. I can't wait, guys. I'm so excited. First of all, for those of you that do know what the series is, then you might want to skip ahead slightly in the video. But right now, I'm going to give a very brief explanation for those of you who don't know what the hell Veloce Squadsprint is. Veloce Squadsprint is a very straightforward, fun, entertaining series, and essentially a league racing series where all the members of the Veloce Esports organization go head to head with one another. This year we have a stacked grid, and it's going to comprise a mix of celebrity all-stars, but also the regular content creators that you guys know and love, and also the esports professionals that you guys know and love. And essentially we have a very mixed grid. Now, with that said, we can now move into how this series is going to work this season, because there are some big changes, and I can't wait, guys, because it's going to give everyone a chance to win, and it's going to be very exciting. Now, with that out of the way, we're now going to move into the details of how Squadsprint works for Season 3. If you guys are excited for the return of this, then slap a like on it, subscribe for more, guys. I'll leave a link to the Veloce channel as well down below in the description, where they do the full broadcast highlights of the event, and we're going to get it underway and see if we can make this a decent season for us. Now that part of the waffle is out of the way, we can now move into how this season is going to work. Now, every single race is going to be 35% race distance. Today, round 1 at Silverstone is going to be the opener for Season 3 of Squadsprint. Now, you might be wondering, 13 laps is not 35%. That's because due to some issues on the day of recording this, there was a bit of a delay, so we had to kind of shorten the race a little bit. But in principle, the rest of the races will be 35% race distance, and it's going to be around the full Silverstone circuit. Now, some of the rules for this series: number 1, setups are fixed to give everybody a chance. Rule number 2, a one-stop is mandatory, and within the strategy, at some point during the race, the soft tyre will be mandatory to be used. We then look at the calendar. Silverstone, round 1, Hockenheim, round 2. We then go to Istanbul Park, then it's Spa, Le Mans, Circuit de la Sarthe, round 5, really spicy there. Interlagos, Bahrain Oval or outer layout, and the grand finale at Yas Marina for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. So a very stacked calendar. We then look at the grid. It's going to be Niran Yusufa on pole, Arav in second, and Nathan Tague making it a 1-2-3 for quadrant. Thibaut Courtois, P4, ahead of Louis Delatraz, and then Simon Weigang for the Mobius All-Stars team here today. Then it's Maxime Bilmans in P7, ahead of Hayden Gullis, and then myself in P9 for Veloce Esports. P10, defending champion Danny Beresne for Alfa Romeo, ahead of Barry Bourmond and Emily Jones, so a very stacked Alfa team. We then look P13, Danny Moreno, the first of the Mercedes cars, ahead of Bono Ruiz and the newly signed Jarno Otmir, F1 Esports World Champion. Ben Daly, P16, ahead of Tomac Porajic from McLaren Shadow, and then the world's fastest gamer at the back of that team lineup in P18. Jaroslav Honzik or Jardier, P19, ahead of Eamon Murphy, and then Yashish Manohar is rounding up the rear with Yas starting at the back of the grid. So as you can see, we have got a really stacked grid for this opening race, and it's worth noting the grid has been decided on reverse championship order from last season, so bear that in mind. But anyway, enough waffling. We are on Assetto Corsa driving a 2022 Formula 1 car, and I can't wait to get started. There's no DRS, fixed setups. It's going to be fair for everybody. We are starting on the hard compound tyres. We're going to try and go for a hard to soft tyre strategy in this race, and fingers crossed we can try and pull that one off. But nonetheless, hopefully we can try and do well. You know, there's going to be that battle. Last season there was a lot of tension and, you know, battling between myself and Tiamat Marduk or Ben Daly, of course, because of that top content creator tag. And I'm hoping this year I can try and be victorious. But as you can see, we're quickly getting the revs lined up, as I believe the lights are starting to come on here for the race, and we're making sure we are good to go. And there we go, underway for the first race. Beresne gets an absolute fly off the line, but to be fair, we got off really well at the same time and make a flying start as we move higher up than where we started. Now making our way through turn 2 down towards turn 3. We're going to go to the outside here, and as you can see, the quadrant cars having a bit of a tussle. We somehow avoid all the contact and move up to P4 behind Arav, and then he gets a bit of a loose rear there, and I'm going to try and challenge by going to the outside, as we go into the Wellington straight, and then right behind us, you can't see, but we've got Emily Jones for Alfa Romeo making a move, making it 3 wide into Luffield here. We're going to have to back off real quick though, and just try and avoid getting in that tangle. And then Arrow actually tags Emily Jones. We hit the brakes. Somehow we don't get damage and we survive, and we are going to benefit from that and make our way up into P3. So gaining a nice handful of places there, and to be fair, a very good start from us as we make our way through Copse Corner. So a crazy first lap. Let's quickly catch a replay here. As you can see, heading into Brooklands, Emily Jones and Arif side by side. I decided to back off as it wasn't really my corner, and then into Luffield, Arif just tags the Alpha, and we're going to just about get through and avoid damage, which was a really key moment of the race. We now skip on towards the end, I believe, of lap number 2. I do apologise, the on-screen elements aren't working. This is recorded from a replay file, so I'm going to have to kind of give you guys the information that was happening at the time due to the fact that the sim data isn't accurate. So we just saw in the distance a car go into the pit lane. I believe that may have been Nathan Tague for Quadrant. So we're now in second place. Simon Weigang leads the way for the Mobius All-Stars team. Now on to lap 3, I believe. We're catching up to one of the Quadrant cars who spins out. I believe that was Niren in you know, a bit of trouble there. Obviously he's using a pad, so of course it isn't the best game for it, and luckily we avoid having contact through there as we now skip on to a few laps later, and we're gradually starting to catch up to Simon Weigang. Now I started the race on the hard compound tyres, Simon started on the mediums, and we're both going to go for the soft tyres later on, of course, due to the mandatory tyre rule being in effect, as we're now catching up to Arif, who's now a lap down. So essentially we are going to start to catch some because the tyre wear is pretty high, and you do get a big benefit at the start of the stint, but by the end the tyre wear is really bad, and also the overheating is quite bad as well. So as you can see, we're actually starting to catch up here and put some pressure on Simon Weigang here, of course, former F1 Esports Haas driver, as we head onto the Wellington straight. I'm going to try and have a bit of a look here. No DRS, we're just using the pure slipstream from these cars, and we are going to get a nice run as we try to go to the outside into Brooklands. We're nice and late on the brakes around the outside, but these cars aren't as grippy or have as much downforce as the current cars that we know, and I'm not quite able to make that one work. As we try to get the exit, I get a bit of oversteer through the exit there of Luffield, and again I get a great run on the old pit straight heading down towards Copse. I thought about it, but I'm not going to risk anything this early on. We're P2, we're looking pretty decent, and I don't want to throw the race away because this could be already my best opportunity this season in terms of, you know, winning a race or scoring a podium or even decent points. So we're going to, you know, be a little bit cautious with it. But now through Chapel onto the Hangar straight, we're going to get a pretty decent exit, but to be fair, Simon did a pretty good job himself, and I wasn't really close enough to get the run into Stowe, so we're going to have to just kind of hang back for now and just be a little bit more patient before we go for this move. But then on the exit we get a big old tank slapper there, the back end stepping out on us, and we have to correct the car, and we avoid a huge collision as we head on to now the next lap here. And again, I'm trying to put the pressure on Simon. At this stage, you know, my tyres are going pretty well, and Simon's really struggling on his mediums. I believe we're currently on lap number 8 of 13. And at this stage, to be fair, I thought Simon would have pitted by now, but that hasn't been the case. So I'm kind of eyeing up my strategy options myself, and I'm trying to see if I can go for a bit of an alternate strategy, because I'm going to try and go opposite of Simon. So if he pits, I'm going to stay out. If he stays out, I'm going to pit. And you can see here, he goes to the dummy, but he doesn't decide to go in. So I'm going to use that as an opportunity for an undercut. And this could be my big golden ticket. The undercut is very, very powerful around here. Fresh soft tyres are worth about 2.5 to 3 seconds per lap. So this is massive for us, and we need to just make sure it's a nice clean stop and the outlap is nice and clean as well. We're going to make sure we hit our marks here in the pit lane in Assetto Corsa. We're going to get it all slowed down, and we're going to strap on a fresh set of soft compound tyres, and we're going to get straight back underway. Try to get to work and see if we can make a recovery as we pass Thibaut Courtois there, stuck in the pits, who I believe has retired from the race. Now we're going to rejoin, and I think it's going to be like P10, and we're going to get a nice bit of clean track, and we're now going to skip on to the end of this lap because someone Weigang decides to pit, and so does Jardier, who's right behind him for Yas Heat.
1.5 seconds, but indeed Weigang in the pits, and so is Honzik. They're just about to cross the pit entry line now and enter the box, and Jarno Opmeer will stay out, take the lead of the race at least for now, but not forgetting, remember, that the person leading the fray will very shortly be, hopefully, if the plan goes to fruition, Tom Martinez.
Well, here we go. This is absolutely key then. Who is going to win the opening race of the squad sprint season? You do feel it's all going to come down to the pits. Let's have a look out on the racetrack then. We've got all sorts of cars battling into turn one at the minute. That is the man we're looking for, I believe. No, who's that? That's the Veloce car of Tom. It is Tom, and he's out. And he is well clear, in fact, of Simon Vagang. By a mile, in fact.
And there we go, we've managed to pull off a successful undercut, and it wasn't even close. We are so far ahead, but now we've got the pressure here on Danny Moreno from Mercedes. We're going to go down the inside into Brooklands, and of course we've got the big tyre advantage at this stage of the race, so we're going to make a nice easy move down the inside, and that's another move ticked off the list. And we're now going to cut on to another pit stop, this time from his teammate Jarno Opmeer.
And indeed, Jarno Opmeer now boxing. Now we'll have to see how the undercut proves itself now, because Opmeer has stayed out. He's gone for a longer stint on his first tyre, so we'll have to see how it works out for him on exit. This is going to be very crucial to this race now.
So as you can see, Opmeer in the pit lane. He's the last car to pit on lap 11. I'm currently P2, but with Opmeer in the pit lane, it means I am going to take the lead of the race, and it's going to be Eamon Murphy for Yas Heat in second place, who also managed to undercut Simon Vagang. And there we go, we are now leading round one of squad sprint here at the British Grand Prix. We then head on to the penultimate lap of the race, and we catch up to Ara for a second time this race. Luckily he manages to get out of the way, and we get a nice little bit of slipstream on the exit there onto the hanger straight. And luckily no issues there with us. And to be fair, I was a lot more lucky because Eamon Murphy got held up quite badly by Ara a couple of corners later. But there we go, onto the last lap of the race then, making our way through the final part of the lap. And it's been an absolutely perfect race. Not a lot of action, it has to be said. I just managed to keep my nose clean on lap one, and then just stay, next to Simon Vagang, and then the strategy did the rest. But here we go, across the line, we win round one for the British Grand Prix in squad sprint, and already one more race win than what I had at this stage last season, because I didn't win a race at all in season 2 despite some really good performances. And we celebrate, of course, with some mandatory donuts, because why would you not do some donuts? And we then look at the final race results then, and in the end it was myself winning the race ahead of Eamon Murphy. Jardier or Jaroslav Honzik in P3, making it a 2-3 for Yas Heat. Jarno Opmeer recovers to P4, James Baldwin P5 for McLaren Shadow, ahead of Simon Vagang, who finishes P6 in the end, so quite a disappointing second half of the race for him. Barry Brumand P7 ahead of Bono Huis, Ashish Manohar P9, and Emily Jones in the Alpha team finishes P10 after being taken out by Arav on lap 1. So 3 Yas Heat cars in the points, in the form of Murphy, Honzik, and also Yashish. We then look at the second half of the table, those who missed out on the top 10, and we've got Tague, Perez, Ney Moreno, Maxi, my teammate, Louis Delatraz, Ben Daly on a pad in this race, Hayden Gullis, Niran, Arav, Thibaut Courtois, and Tomek Parajic from McLaren Shadow at the back. So 2 retirements, Ben Daly, like I mentioned before, on a pad, and my teammates Maxi and Hayden in P14 and P17 respectfully. So yeah, overall not ideal. We didn't get cars in the points. To be fair, Hayden was running in the points, but then something happened to him later on in the race, I believe, so that was a bit of a shame. He was running in P10. We then look at the Drivers' Championship, and of course this is going to be in the exact same order as the final race results, as it is only round one of the season, so no big changes here. Now, in terms of the constructors, of course, as I mentioned before, because Yas Heat have 3 cars in the points and there's only one of the Veloce cars, it is going to mean that Yas Heat take an early 10-point lead in the constructor standings. We are in second place, Mercedes currently in third, of course, as Bono Huis and Jarno Opmeer scored points today. McLaren Shadow P4, thanks to James Baldwin scoring some points for them here today. Then it's the Mobius All-Stars team ahead of Alpha, and then Team Quadrant on 0 points, thanks to Arav, Niran, and Nathan Tague. So there you go. That is going to be it, guys, for round one of the season. There is going to be a rota, so drivers will switch in certain teams. So we have Super GT, for example, lined up for Quadrant. We've also got Raggy lined up for our team as well. So there's going to be some changes in the next few races. But guys, as always, thank you for the support, and thank you to the members of the channel. And if you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe for more. Check out the previous videos on screen. You might want to check them out because they're pretty decent, and also you might discover some content you might like. And yeah, guys, that's going to be it for round one. I'll be back very soon for round 2, but until then, guys, take care, and it's goodbye from me.